Pregame.com.
NIT Championship game, Madison Square Garden, Thursday night, ESPN. This is Brad Powers in the Pregame.com studios just off the Vegas Strip. We've come to one of the final games of the college basketball season, the NIT Championship game. We got Georgia Tech taking on TCU.
The game to determine the 69th best team in the country. Lucky 69. Who do you like?
I like Georgia Tech here. That's right. Georgia Tech plus 3.5 is the pick. Why do I like Georgia Tech? Let's start off with their sizable defensive edge in this matchup. They rank about 50 spots higher as far as the defensive efficiency ratings, which I like to use compared to scoring defense. And one of my personal handicapping go-tos is taking defensive underdogs. Quite simply, you got a team that doesn't give up many points, and they're getting points. And speaking of points, this is a Georgia Tech defense that's allowed their opponents 71 points or less in 12 of their last 13 games. And I think when you have a lower scoring defense, creates less variance as far as high scoring games, more consistency, and that's why I like Georgia Tech plus 3.5.
So the public loves offense. They're always going to look to favor the better offensive team. I think a special circumstance here, it's not like we got 100 games on the card here. You know, this is the premium game everyone's watching, so we got all the pros. They're going to look to fade the public, be contrarian, and I think we have a pro versus Joe game, right?
Yeah, and exactly. And in this case, I want to be on the pro side. You mentioned another philosophy of mine. I like to be contrarian, especially college basketball late in the season in March. And I think the public's going to see the offensive efficiency ratings. TCU is 200 spots higher than Georgia Tech, but I think we got a championship game here, Fez, and that old adage that defense wins championships, well, I think it cashes the ticket in this case.
Well, let's talk about value here. And the ACC went 3-13 against the spread in the Big Dance, and frankly, a lot of those losses were horrendous losses. I almost want to take my eraser and move my power rating down 2 points on each and every team. Any concerns that Georgia Tech could be one of those overrated ACC teams?
I don't think that's the case. I'll tell you this, they certainly haven't been overrated so far in the NIT tournament. They're 4-0 against the spread. Average cover, Fez, by 12 points per game. And I'll say this, the ACC's overrated media narrative might be actually giving us value in Georgia Tech games.
Your second key handicap.
Well, let's talk about Georgia Tech and value aspect. I think they've been undervalued. You look at their last 12 games, they're 10-2 against a number. Let's take it back to the preseason where this Georgia Tech team was. They were picked number 14 out of 15 ACC teams. They had a new coach. They lost a bunch of players. They were expected to maybe win 1 or 2 conference games this year. They win 8. Josh Pastner gets coach of the year, and the markets just haven't been able to catch up with their vast improvement.
I wish I would have had a ticket on Josh Pastner to win coach of the year, but clearly they've shown great improvement. That's reflected in your power ratings. I took a look at our competitors' power ratings. Pretty big disparity between yours and theirs, right?
Yeah, Ken Pom and the Sagarins have TCU favored by 5 or 6 points in this particular matchup. Mine only have TCU favored by 3 or a little bit less than that. And I say it looks like the markets are agreeing more with me, and I like it when that's the case.
You know, one thing I like with this bet also is I'm going to go ahead and play a parlay because I think it's correlated. I'm going to take the under 133.5. Parlayed to Georgia Tech plus the 3 or more. I think it's a winner. Let's make it official.
Yeah, let's make this one official. We're taking Georgia Tech plus 3.5. They have a sizable defensive edge, and the betting markets, particularly the public, react more to offense than defense. Plus, we have a Georgia Tech team that is undervalued. Basically, the betting markets have not been able to catch up with their vast improvement over the last stretch of the season. Add it all up, Georgia Tech plus the points is the play. More videos at pregame.com.